Hello everyone and welcome back to the Minecraft 1.20 Let's Play. In the last video we built that bridge as well as this whole hotel here, which is what I'm kind of calling it right now, because I think that's kind of the best description I could give it, and currently our bartender's kind of stuck in one of the seats, but he was doing pretty good until a little while ago, walking around, being normal, you know? But this place also definitely needs a few more villagers probably to go and fill those minecarts, but right now the villager breeder isn't working super well. The project for today is to finally transform the ocean monument, which is just out of sight over there. But first, and not that I'm stalling, but before I go and tackle all of the monsters in that ocean monument, I want to build kind of a little camping boat. Just a little area that we can have out there instead of just being floating on the water all of the time. I want to have some sturdy ground to kind of put all of my crap, especially while I'm building it. That's going to be super helpful. So we first need to gather the materials, and it's mostly warped wood with some crimson and some cherry as well. And luckily we have plenty of warped, so I'm just going to take most of that, as well as our crimson and a little bit of cherry. We're also going to need some nether brick fences, and the final thing for the sails is a couple of decorated pots for the bottoms in all of their unstackable glory. And then we also need some white and light gray wool, as well as some white concrete. And if I remember right, I think that I do still have some light gray sheep in here. At least I'm really hoping so. I do, okay. I will take some of that, thank you. And now that should be everything that we need to actually start working on this thing. And I don't want this thing to be too close to the monument, so I'm going to keep it a little ways distance from it, but I was also kind of hoping it would be within sight of our main area there, but I don't know that it will be, so I think this is a good spot. And this is going to be a pretty small boat, so the first thing that we need to do is just go 2 blocks under the water and just build a nice little line that is 7 blocks wide, and then 3 blocks to the front of the boat, and 4 to the back. And then we can continue and curve this whole thing up out of the water. Okay, and so now this is where it gets kind of tricky because there's like a kind of a pink cherry stripe running along this thing, so we have to kind of work that in, but with blocks on a very small scale. And now that the basic stripe is in, even though it doesn't really look like a stripe, we have to kind of cover it with warps to make it look a little bit more coherent and, you know, kind of cover up some of this. So now that's just the basic outside done. Now all that we have left to do is the inside, including putting the deck on this thing, which is going to be really helpful for, you know, getting around. And like I said before, this is going to be just made out of some crimson stem, but since I'm poor, I think this is also going to just be some slabs. At least for just as long as we can get away with it. And then we have 2 kind of little raised sections on each side. This one is more of like a little deck area for like the steering wheel and stuff. But then the other side is a little bit more raised up because there is going to be a full doorway in here. And then the doorway itself here is made out of not crimson, or yeah, crimson because it's a little bit too much, but instead it is warped with a few slabs on top. And the final touch we need is a crimson door, and that'll go right here, and then we need to kind of bring this all down one. And then it is very cramped down here, however I was kind of planning to maybe change a lot of this out for slabs and then unwaterlog it so that we can have a little bit of a storage area down here, but right now I'm going to leave it because we do need to continue and work on the sails up here. And if you remember, that's what we got our decorated pots for. And there is 2 of them, one there and here, and we'll just start with this little one up here first. And now that we're all the way up here, we can work on the sails. And I'm not doing like a big open sail to like kind of make it like this thing is sailing across the seas. I want it to be kind of like anchored down here, so the sails are going to be kind of like tied up. And that'll have it just looking like that. Obviously not as impressive as a huge open sail, but it would also take quite a lot of time to design because I'm very bad at it, so just doing that will be good. And the little one is even easier. This one you'll see is only 3 blocks in total. Just like that. But then I'm also thinking maybe if we got some chains, which I don't know if I have or not, but we also need a block of this crimson hyphate. No, not that. What is that called? That's the grass. This is just a work block. And then maybe if we did a little bit of like candles on the top of those 2 pillars, just kind of smooth it out into a point. But I also need for that some magenta dye, I think. Perfect. So we can make 2 of those. But then as for our chains, I think we do need to kind of just smelt some iron, even though we don't have a whole lot of it. And then we can make just a few of these guys here. Really just as many as our iron stash will allow us to. Perfect. Okay, I think 9 is good enough. Oh, it actually looks so cool from a distance. Let's go. Okay, that's good. I was kind of worried about it just because it might be a little bit awkward sitting out there by itself. But I guess there isn't a whole lot of stuff always right in the ocean, so I guess it looks normal. We can pillar up here again and add in our magenta candles, but also on this one I'm going to have a little bit of a flag. And it's very simple, just made out of a stripped log, our warped block, and our warped slab. And then just a little candle on top. So now the sails are fully completed, but I also wanted to make this look more like a little balcony because it needs something else. So we're going to need to strip 6 of these. And you guessed it, some crimson hanging signs to add just along here. Perfect, I think that works well. And I didn't honestly think about the anchor part until like I got the chains for it, so we're gonna kind of wing it here. And I don't really want to mess up the shape of the boat, so we might just maybe take just a fence and then bring this down here. It's fine though. And oh, I forgot about my poor dirt pillar under there. That kind of messes it up a little bit. And we're gonna go very basic on this as well. Just gonna do a plank and a slab. Yeah, I think that works okay. And now that's all finished. So I guess the only thing to do now, unfortunately, is go try and raid that ocean monument. And I know I haven't finished this yet, but I am gonna kind of wait for some sponges, I think, because I don't really want to be messing around under here trying to de-waterlog it, so... Oh, perfect, it's raining. That fits, I guess. I'm gonna go put all of my stuff away, I guess. And then kind of gear up for this, because I'm kind of worried about it. Hey buddy, I'm just visiting. And actually, I suppose that we could just take a crimson door with us for... you know, just breathing underwater. So I don't actually have any respiration on here. That's unfortunate, but we have a couple doors. Actually, I'm just gonna take all of the doors that I have in my possession right now. It's not weird, trust me. Not that I'm expecting to die during this, but I mean, I'm kind of expecting to die. And I'm actually gonna set my spawn on this boat so I can respawn kind of in a safe space, but still a little bit closer to where I actually perished. And we'll just leave our purple shulker here because I don't think I really need anything. I mean, I'm sure bows don't work underwater, but I guess a shield would be a good thing to have. Oh, dang it, I see one. Hi, no thank you. Oh gosh, they've got me. Go away, go away, go away. Okay, we made it here. Actually, shouldn't I have gotten mining fatigue right now? Oh, hey, rude. They're so creepy, I hate them. Ow. What the heck? Isn't this usually where one is? Okay, we're safe for the moment. I thought they always spawned in this room. Do they not? Now that I'm actually thinking about it, I might have a water breathing potion at home, but I mean, it's too late now. It's fine, probably. Ooh, magma. That's actually super handy. I'm just giving out free breath around here. Alright, well maybe I can find the other one then. Hopefully. Although, I think it's somewhere down in here, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, hello. Nope, 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 go away. That's uncool of you. Stop it. Oh, I didn't know they could get you through doors. What the heck? Okay, I'm leaving. Goodbye. Ow. So I guess maybe they aren't in here? except for all of the little goons, which I do not like. Okay, well I've found the gold room, but still not a single sponge. That's kind of sad. Ow, I didn't, oh, sponges! Let's go, I'm stuck. Oh gosh, is that glitchy or do they do that to you? I hate guardians. They're not cool, they're not good creatures. Okay, we found sponges though, that's good. I mean, I don't have mining fatigue, so I could get them, but I kind of just want to dig a hole outside so that I know where they are to come back for them later. Because they are wet, obviously, so I can't do anything with them to dry anything out here. And we'll just leave a little drip pillar on this side, so I know where to come back to. More magma! Rude, there are so many in here. Oh, and another one! Okay, that's good, they're close together. Okay, so at this point, I think that I have cleared most of this area. I mean, obviously, except for the guardians, but other than that, I think that there isn't really anything for me to have or find. So I'm gonna probably collect some of the sponges and just kind of get to work on the actual farm. Alright, and I don't know a whole lot about these farms, but I do know that you need a... Ow! Actually, I'm going the wrong direction. But I do know that you do need a bunch of glass for this to make a whole circle around it to kind of drain it. And I guess not necessarily glass, just a lot of blocks, but if you want to make it look kind of nice, glass. So I think we are going to have to go on a whole glass buying spree. However, I do want to kind of do something with this, just to have storage to kind of be close by when we're building this thing. So I'm going to go into the nether and dry some of these out real quick. Oh, you guys are still here. Hello. Both of you, look at that. Excellent, I really hope they stay here for a while. Oh, ghast. No. Not cool. I have only seen a ghast twice in here, and they were both on camera, and they both scared the crap out of me. He's over there, though. Okay, I'm gonna make it to my basement, I think. Perfect, so now we have a few to kind of soak up all of the mess that is underneath our ship, because right now, if this was real life, it would definitely be at the bottom of the ocean. Oh, and look at our ship in the distance. It's beautiful, I love it. I actually think it's a really good spot for it, because you can get a pretty good view of it from right here. I think if you go back it fades a little bit, but it's very cool to see it from the docks. Okay, and I know that all of this can't be completely dry because there are some like stairs and stuff and slabs that do have to be waterlogged for it to look good from the outside. So we're just gonna do a little bit here. And actually 2 sponges is all it took. Alright. But the first thing that I need to start with is to actually take all of these out and turn them into slabs. Because as you can see right now, we can't really walk on here unless it is slabs, and I know it's going to be kind of weird to put stuff on it because everything will be floating, but it's kind of a little bit of a trade-off, so it might be that we leave some of these full blocks and everything is just kind of sitting on a shelf here. Okay, and now is the part where we just add a whole bunch of barrels in here. Okay, and so now I think that's good for down here. I definitely need some lighting and a little bit more decoration, but that's something I'm gonna probably do after I finish the farm as something that is kind of fun that isn't gonna be placing thousands and thousands of blocks of glass, so. But that being said, let's actually get started on that. First, I tried making some potions to help breathe underwater and so the guardians can't see me, but I got all the stuff for it, then I couldn't find my blaze rods anywhere. So I decided to do it without them. I cleared the whole monument of seagrass and kelp. And doing this without invisibility wasn't that bad, it was just a lot slower because I had to keep swimming away from the danger. After I did that, I bought as much glass as I could with my funds, and I mapped out a circle. This circle, I know it could be much bigger, but I did, I think, half the size people normally do if they drain a monument. The width of this thing is going to be about 64 blocks, whereas I think it's usually 128. After a bit, I ran out of glass because this is still a gigantic project, so I made use of my auto carrot and potato farm, and traded for more glass. I kept mapping out the circle, which was difficult because I didn't have any walls yet to hide behind and escape the constant attacks from guardians. I had to refill in glass very often and I continued constructing the circle, but for a while it didn't seem like I was making any progress. I was running out of ways to get emeralds and my pumpkin and melon farm wasn't cutting it, so I went to my clay farm and traded with my stonemasons. I also used my bamboo to trade some sticks, and I was really running out of money at this point, so I turned a villager into a shepherd to try and get a good dye trade so I could bone meal some flowers and make money, but of course when I got to that level it was a light gray dye trade and there wasn't any too tall light gray flowers I could bone meal, of course, so I had to kill a bunch of squid instead. I also got a trade for purple dye, which I can bone meal roses for, but I still had to hunt for lapis, which as it turns out is a very scarce resource, so I didn't get far. But with all of this, I was able to get enough glass to get pretty far into the giant ocean ring, but I still had far to go. So I finally gave up and went to a beach where I destroyed the landscape, but it was enough to eventually, after a lot of glass melting and placing, finish the entire circle all the way up to the surface. And now, after so much building, like seriously too much, I've finished the whole ring around the monument, but I still need to drain it. And I want to use gravel instead of sand because, well, I've used up all of the sand in the area without destroying the pretty beaches around, like, my immediate vicinity. But in order to collect gravel, I'm going to need a new shovel, one that doesn't have fortune so that I'm not mining flint. And looking at what we have, I think we'll try Unbreaking 3. Yeah, that's pretty good. And we can add another efficiency 4 to it so that it's as quick as possible. And now I can head down into the caves and gather up a bit of gravel. A little while later, and I think over 9 stacks will hopefully be enough to get us started. So we'll head back out into the ocean. And I'm going to just make a 3x3 square with the towers of gravel. And now that we finished that, I actually forgot to dry the sponges, so let's go into the nether real quick. Much better. And now... Okay, great, yes, it's working. But unfortunately now that means I just have to do this for a while. Well, that was 3 weeks of my life, but we have survived this whole project except for the farm itself, so I need to start now on draining the whole entire monument. So I slowly worked my way through all of the small rooms, and then I started on the big outer room, which was by far the most painful part. There's no such thing as too much ocean draining in an episode, right? Anyways, the next thing, and hopefully the last thing before the actual farm, is I want to smooth out the terrain and light up the area completely. And now that that's done, we can gather everything we need for the farm, so I'll get some soul sand, which it looks like we don't have a lot, so let's go to the nether real quick. And I think there's a soul sand valley around here. Actually, you know what, I'm going in the wrong direction. Over here, I think there's one by the massive lava lake. Oh yeah, here we go. We'll trade a little bit from our pumpkin farm and use that money to buy yet again a ton of glass. We also need to make some soul campfires with our soul sand for the killing/collection system. So now back in the monument, I think this whole room needs to go, and maybe some of the stuff around it so that it's all one big open area. And now the floor all needs to be soul sand so the guardians will get pushed up to the top. And we'll just fill the whole thing with water, which kind of feels like backtracking after spending days draining this crap. But before we fill it completely, I want to put in a temporary top floor so that I can set up the funneling system. Okay, so now that part is pretty much done, I need to go back to the mainland and get some iron and planks. And I'm going to take all of the iron that I have because I'm going to need a lot of hoppers. I also am going to make some fence gates because I think that I need to rework the water flow at the top of the farm. Oh no, this is bad. I mean, it's working, but I didn't think about this part. So I'm going to place all of the fires down so the guardians can't fall on me. And now we can set up the loot collection system. I don't have that many chests, but it should be fine for now. The last thing I want to do is put in a window into the chamber. Just too tall, but it runs for a good length on this wall so we can watch our enemies burn. Now this area is functional, but I want to make it pretty, so I'm going to use plain prismarine for the floor and some bricks for the walls. And like I said, the farm is now functional, so I'll pile up and make an AFK platform, and I'm going to let this run for about 1 hour. Alright, it's been an hour, so let's go check the farm. Ah yes, the beautiful site of their demise. Oh my god, this has generated so much. I severely underestimated how much storage I would need. This is ridiculous. Okay, I've gotten everything sorted, I think, and I made some into blocks to save some space because it takes like 4 to 9 to make one, so I also have a lot of fish here to trade next episode, or to get a whole army of cats. It depends on the vibe, but that is more than all of the time that I have for this episode. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.